I made my boys happy today. I cooked a turkey.
Nice.
There you go.
Bet your house smells awesome.
Oh my God. I was like, oh, I couldn't smell it at first. I said, I can't smell that turkey cooking, and David said, I can smell it. That's what he said. He said,
Because lots of times you're already congested, and
This time of
that's
year,
part, you
yeah.
don't, you can't.
and with all this dampness, the
Oh.
allergies, you know what, it's just, we just have to do the best that we can, and that's all we can do. But I had to
We're a
pick
lot
up
luckier than many other places.
I had to pick up a prescription today, and I thought, there's nobody down there.
You ready to go live?
You guys ready?
Sure.
We're gonna start, guys.
All right, we're gonna call the meeting to order at 6:32. And we have Deb Wallace, Jake Morgan, and Shannon Knowles here, present. And our virtual participation, we have Jessica Fry, Phyllis Johnston, and Patricia Conant. That's everybody.
Hi, guys.
He can see some of them.
Hello.
All right, we're gonna do acceptance of the minutes for the March 5th and March 23rd meeting.
I make a motion that we accept them as presented.
I'll second it.
Jake is gonna second that. So is there any discussion on them? Those of you that are participating virtually can review them if you would like. We have reviewed them here. We are going to take a vote, and I'm gonna need each one of you to vote individually on the warrants. I'm gonna start with Debbie. For your vote?
Yes, yes.
Jake?
Yes, yes.
Yes for myself. Jessica?
Yes.
Phyllis?
Yes.
Patricia? Sorry, Pat? Did you hear me?
Pat, you're gonna have to hit that mic button when you wanna talk, and then hit it again to mute it.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you. All right, that passed unanimously. Is that how you wanted to do that, Mark?
Yes,
Okay,
perfect.
Okay. Any agenda adjustments?
None.
Okay. On to reports. Obviously, we're not,
I don't have
You're
a
not gonna have-
Herman, I don't
right.
have a Herman report. They did send a message that they are, we were supposed to meet on April 6th, I'm gonna say, and it was moved to the 13th, I think. But it has been moved. We're not meeting on the 6th. So the
sure.
Herman meeting has changed.
and I'm sure it will change again.
Yep.
And,
I left all of the reports kind of as is, but I told, my admin team that in light of where things are, I could report out for everybody, and they didn't need to come in, so, but I left them in the agenda in case people had
Yep.
questions or stuff that they would need.
okay. We're gonna do personnel issues.
We had no personnel changes since last month, so it's
Perfect.
exactly the same.
And we're gonna, number 7 is the COVID-19 update. Mark?
So, things change really fast, these days. I think you probably all got my message today. So, with, Governor Mills' proclamation, we really had to start to look at things differently. Number one, the very next day, we had a lot more employees that were nervous. And rightfully so. You know, cooks or bus drivers that are over 60, that have things like COPD or that take care of elderly parents at home. I mean, they have very valid concerns. And in light of what she said, we were doing a good job with getting food out and stuff, but I didn't feel like we were taking the necessary steps to keep all of our employees safe. And so we really had to make some changes. The most unfortunate change is the food distribution. Having to go to pickup sites. My fear is we have some families that will need it and reach out.
They won't get it, that's right.
And so, we're gonna go to pickup sites and, we're gonna track everybody that has been getting it, and if they stop, we're gonna reach out to them. And we'll hope for the best. We're trying real hard to push through tomorrow and Monday, cause we're all set from our next round of materials. And Monday, we're set to deliver pantry boxes, and we feel like we can do that and still, uphold Governor Mills' expectations. But after that, I've changed things throughout the district, so I've asked teachers not to come into buildings. I guess my theory on it right now is the more I expect, the more people become essential. So if the teachers aren't coming in, we don't have to have all the custodial staff every day. Bus drivers aren't coming in every day, so we don't have to we can keep their buses at the bus garage and take care of some of that. I've asked the school offices to not have necessarily set hours and to be able to work remotely and use their office when it's essential. IT has helped it so that all the schools can check their voicemail from home, so the secretaries can call in and see what there is for messages, and we can reach out. I don't think we're getting a terrible amount of phone calls anyways. And we're gonna kinda push through with that status quo until the week of April 13th and 14th. We'll bring teachers in and prepare them for the next round of
The
materials.
week after vacation.
Which will go out the week after vacation. And we'll go forward from there.
I just wanna say, once again, I said it at the last meeting, your voice, the messages always come through when they're written. They're always very precise, and, the follow-up opportunity is there for people if they need it. But I think when people in our district hear your voice, because you are the voice, we are all voices for this district, but you're the one that people have to come to for the answers. So, again, I commend you. Clear, concise messages, so
I'm
it's
getting,
much appreciated.
I'm getting good feedback from the community too. Like I got an email from a parent tonight that appreciates
Yep.
the messages,
Good.
which is not my favorite thing to do.
But
Mine
you
either.
do it, you would never know, the way,
Yeah.
the way you put it across,
It's
it's
really
like you're
more
having a
what-
conversation.
It's really more what my voice sounds like. Like it doesn't sound like me, so that's hard for me. But it doesn't
That's
matter.
to us.
It's not
It
about
sounds-
me. Yeah, that's right.
It sounds good
It's
to
for you.
us, it
Right.
sounds good to
That's right.
us.
It's not about me. I'll do what I need to.
Right.
And the other thing that we're trying to do is set up some systems so that we can do things as remotely as possible. I'll be asking for authorization for a couple of things, just to be prepared, just in case something does happen, so that we don't have to pull another emergency meeting. We'll try to stay ahead of it as much as we can. I think that's our goal, is we're always trying to stay a few steps ahead of what could happen, and it's helped us so far.
Now, how much are we using the remote learning? Do we know how many kids have internet and don't have internet? Are we
I don't have the numbers right now, but we have them, like, each school knows. Like, every teacher reached out, and we got that number. This was unique, one of the discrepancies we had was if they had a device in their home, the immediate answer for most people was yes.
right?
But when you ask them if they have a device other than a phone, because a phone isn't necessarily great for remote
Right.
learning, it's a very different answer.
Okay.
Now, what's this, like Dover got a bunch of computers or something from?
Yeah,
that's what I
so
was getting
Dover already
kinda
got them
bored
because
with
they
that.
had the highest need. They didn't get them?
They don't have them yet. I
No.
immediately reached out to the tech director.
So they're
there,
just approved for,
and, they do not have them yet, but they're getting 100 of them whenever they arrive.
Okay.
Yeah, the state supposedly ordered 30,000 of them. During my meeting, I kind of got on and did some looking around, and they're a T-Mobile device, and they're back-ordered 4 months right now. So even if we wanted them, we couldn't get them. And we filled out the surveys for the state. I haven't heard anything from the state on what would get on those. And I don't even know what our cell service is like throughout both towns.
Right, that's what
Spotty in some places.
I'm just curious, the kids that don't have access to the internet, are we doing something extra for them?
Yeah.
Are
So,
we,
well, we're doing, everybody who doesn't have access is getting a packet. Everybody at the K-5 level is doing packet learning. We're doing a lot more here at Caravel, but we're more set up for it.
right,
In fact, we're ready for material distribution tomorrow, and it is much leaner than what we had to send out the first time. So that helps us. That is also one of my concerns, is the capacity to offer what we're doing. So we've already had to change our food distribution because we just don't have the capacity, without all the cooks and the bus drivers. We don't have the capacity to pull it off. So as we talk about using our space and thinking of our teachers, it's a lot of exposure, and we need the school to make the packets. And so if we get to a point where people start to get sick, that's going to affect our capacity to offer remote learning, and that's a fear of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Moving forward. So I mean, I think we hope for the best on that. We got a plan.
One day at a time.
We got a plan right now for getting that next round out, and we're kind of go one step at a time.
Sounds good. Any more questions on how we're handling that?
Yes, can I say something?
Sure.
Absolutely.
So, on a lot of the sites there and on Facebook, of course, many teachers are adding on their, different, websites that are offering free education. And, I would assume that many of the teachers are probably looking at that, and they can pick and choose that as well. If they don't have packets, but they could get onto XYZ website for science, they could do, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
There are some out there that I hope that our teachers are able to look at and suggest to parents and kids.
Yeah, we are doing that. In fact, the IT department even set up like a way to vet that, to make sure that the sites that we're sending out are appropriate and work the way they need to. And sometimes it's easy to like see a resource and jump on real quick and say, oh, this is awesome, the kids could do it. But then in practice, kids go on and you need to subscribe once you start to do things. And so we're trying to get ahead of that and make sure that the stuff we're putting out is quality.
Okay, good.
I just wanted to add, like, as far as the middle school, they have their own devices through the school. So, like, one of my kiddos has an iPad and the other one has a Chromebook through the middle school that she's getting all her work done on through that. And with Caleb, he has a computer that we're doing, so all the learning that's in the packet, he can also do online, and there's extra stuff online that the teacher is incorporating.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're doing a good job of trying to make it so the kids aren't learning any new things, but just refreshing that learning so that they don't lose it until they hopefully get back into the schools pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. That's our goal. That gets harder and harder the more we're pushed out. You know, trying to do some maintenance packets for 2 weeks, you feel pretty good about that. If we're doing them for 9 weeks, that's not a very warm and fuzzy feeling. But all we can do is, you know, I keep telling my teachers are, this is really bothering our teachers. And I applaud the effort that they're putting in. They are trying really hard to overcome what this is causing, and we're trying to get them to understand that they cannot. What this is creating isn't something we can fix right now, even if we work really hard as teachers. It's going to be something that we deal with every year with this group of kids. Every year it's going to be different from now on.
And our teachers look at all of our students, as do teachers in other districts. You look at these faces, and when you see a quizzical look on the face, then you get everybody else working, and you take the 2 seconds and you say, Mark, what's your question? Where is this? And for these teachers, they can't do that. They cannot see these kids' faces and see where they're having a question or a problem, and that's hard for a dedicated teacher.
And we've had teachers doing classes, virtual classes online. We've had teachers doing one-on-one sessions with kids. We had a writing teacher over in Carmel that did a one-on-one writing lesson with a parent. So a parent could help a kid more. But I think realistically, we need to know that, thinking of all of our kids, remote learning is a challenge. It
Definitely.
is very difficult, and parents are only going to be able to do what they can. And the dynamic is different with a kid and a parent than it is with a kid and a teacher.
Absolutely.
And so, what's going on in people's homes, we're trying to be very aware of what we're sending home so that it can be successful and no harm to student, parent, or relationship.
Good point. Very good point.
Unfortunately, that's a little late.
Yeah, right.
All right. Any more questions on that? No?
No, thank
Good.
you.
Thank you. Authorization of the school calendar
So,
and adjustment.
I would like to ask the board to authorize me to change the school calendar. We've been kicking around as a region of superintendents how we're gonna respond. And it's likely, you know, as data comes in, it's likely that we're gonna have to change the school year for kids anyways. And so, just trying to plan ahead, if you authorize me to make a call like that, we won't have to have an emergency meeting to do it, is really what I'm thinking. And basically, the way that we're leaning right now as a region, it's find a time that makes sense to cease the instruction piece for kids, and that might be the end of the year. As things change, we'll know. But if we do that, our goal with all staff will be to keep them doing professional development and planning for next year until the end of our calendar year. So anything that we change school calendar-wise would only be for students.
Do you need a motion?
Yes.
Make a motion that we authorize the superintendent to change our school calendar to accommodate the necessary changes for our students and staff.
I'll second that.
Thanks, Pat.
Pat? Any more discussion on that? Any questions on that?
No, if you have to, you'll let us know, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Just send us an email.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna ask for votes from everyone. I'm gonna start with Deb.
Yes,
Yes for myself.
Yes,
Jake?
Jake.
Jessica?
Yes.
Phyllis?
Yes.
Patricia?
Yes.
6-0. Unanimous, thank you. Budget and finance.
I make a motion that we pay them and see that none go away dissatisfied.
Second.
Jake, second on that. All right, I'm gonna ask for another vote on that, starting with Deb.
Yes,
Yes for myself. Jake?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Phyllis?
Yes.
Patricia?
Yes.
All right, 6-0, unanimous, thank you. We'll discuss and sign any documents for financing the infrastructure project through the main bond bank. I think you just need signatures from,
Yeah, so on these, we have to make a motion to accept them. I'll explain kind of each one as it goes, so that you understand what we're voting for, and then Shannon and I have to sign them. So the major things that we have to do is just a resolution to be able to borrow money. So the first one is a resolution, and it's for $5.8 million of financing for phase one. So one thing that changed for us as we were going through the process is we hit a little bit of a wrinkle when we applied to the main bond bank, because the way that the warrant was written, there were a couple of words that changed how we could borrow the money. So by combining phase 1 and 2 through the bond bank, they had to subtract the full amount of the phase 2 funding, even though $1.2 million is forgiven, but that had to come off the top. And so all of a sudden we're left with a financing through the bond bank where we're $1 million short basically for phase 1, even though it was understood and voted for that we'd have full funding. And so where we were fortunate here was because of we went through the correct process, we're allowed to get lease financing, and lease rates are very good right now. And we were also able to, because of this problem, cut some more money out of it. So you'll see the money when we do the resolution for the lease agreement, we actually saved another $220,000 on the project, which is fantastic. So the first one is a resolution to borrow the $5.8 million for phase 1 through the main bond bank. And I'll let, if Shannon wants to read the motion, or if somebody wants to.
am I making the motion? Or who wants to make the motion? I guess we'll let you, just the top part right there.
I move that the resolution entitled Resolution to Authorize 5.881 Loan Agreement, Insurance Bonds, and related documentation for minor capital purposes be approved in form presented to this meeting, and that an attested copy of said resolution be included in the minutes of this meeting.
Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Jake, thank you. Any more discussion on that one? No? I'm gonna ask everyone for their individual vote, starting with you, Deb.
I'll say yes.
Yes for me. Jake?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Phyllis?
Yes.
Patricia?
Yes.
All right, 6-0, unanimous. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. The second one is the SRRF school state revolving renovation fund, and this resolution says that the state's going to give us $1,718,707 with $1,154,112 forgiven. So our payback will be $564,595 over 10 years at 0% interest, which is a great deal. I don't know who wants to make this motion. Debbie volunteers. Jake.
So you want me
Shorter.
to read what?
That one's shorter, Jake.
Just the top
Okay.
line.
I move that the vote entitled Vote to Authorize 1718-707 School Revolving Renovation Fund Financing be approved in form presented to this meeting, and that the secretary file an attested copy to said vote with the minutes of this meeting.
Is that Phyllis?
Yep, Phyllis seconded it.
Thank you, Phyllis. Waiting. All right, any more discussion on that one? On the revolving, nope.
I don't know where this will all fit in, but did everyone receive that letter?
Yes.
Yes, and is that going to have any follow-through or bearing on anything we're doing?
So I have drafted a letter in response to it. We haven't heard anything yet, and so I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my letter with the town managers, because the letter was written to them, and it just really speaks to each of what their needs are, and addresses why we're doing it the way that we are.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to call for a vote on the revolving renovation. Start with you, Deb.
Yes.
Yes for me. Jake?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Phyllis?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
All right, 6-0, unanimous. Thank you. All right.
Thanks, guys.
That's it for that.
And the last one is a resolution to get the rest of the money through a lease agreement, and that is for $929,813, and it still follows our not to exceed standards, so that we can't overfund the project.
So I move that the resolution entitled Resolution to Authorize Energy Performance Contract and Lease Purchase Financing of Energy Conservation and Air Quality Improvements at RSU facilities in principal amount not to exceed $929,813 be approved in form presented to this meeting, and that the attested copy of said resolution be included with the minutes of this meeting.
I second that.
Thank you, Pat. And call for a vote. Deb?
Yes.
It's yes for me. Jake?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Phyllis?
Yes.
Patricia?
Yes.
6-0, unanimous. Thank you. I think that's it for that part of it.
Yep.
So we're gonna set the next meeting dates.
Hey, we have one more thing.
Oh, sorry.
See.
That's all right.
Is there one more?
Yeah, so the last thing that I'd like to do is, we're in a tight timeline, but ESG is working on we have to sign a contract to start the work, and they are working with our lawyers, Drummond and Woodsum, and so they're working hand in hand. ESG has sent the contract over to Drummond Woodsum tonight, so all I'd like for the board to do is authorize me to sign it pending approval through Drummond and Woodson.
And will this have any kind of effect because of the coronavirus?
No, actually,
Slowing things down?
now, well, it actually could help us, but I had a very interesting conversation just on my way here from central office today with Ed Daly, and with this opportunity, if we get to a point where we say students aren't coming back in, we could start. We could turn this project into a quick turnover, but here's the issue. As of right now, anybody who comes in from out of state has a 14-day quarantine.
Right.
So, that's going to set us back a little bit. But there is an opportunity that we could start. They've actually been very good. We're talking about students coming in and maybe even starting the energy project ahead of time. My concern was for cleanup and custodial staff, and ESG offered to hire a professional cleaning service if that situation arrives, and they will hire them to come in and clean up after everything that they've done in any building.
See, I got contractors reaching out, wanting to come in now, because there's no kids. They're
Right.
calling. I mean, heating, electrical, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got time, we'll do it.
It's a good opportunity, and IT's taking advantage of it too.
Right.
So that's it. It's not, as long as Drummond Woodson, that would be the approval I would need anyways to make sure that it's a valid contract and that we're safe. And so that authorization would be helpful.
So I make a motion to allow Mark to sign that.
Okay. Somebody want to
I'll second it.
that? Deb?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion on that? I don't have a problem as long as it's Drummond and Woodson. I mean, because obviously if there's any issues in between, they're the ones that have,
Are gonna say don't sign
right,
it.
Right.
They would be the ones
That's
to
who you reach
know.
out to.
right,
That's-
so
yeah,
that's
that's-
why I'm comfortable with it.
Mm.
All right, and with that, we're gonna call for a vote. Start with Deb.
I'll say yes.
I'll say yes. Jake?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Phyllis?
I say great, yes.
Okay. Patricia?
Go for it.
All right, thank you. 6-0, unanimous. Thank you. All right, so that's all we need there. Perfect. So now we're gonna set the next meeting dates, maybe, agenda items, maybe? When that would be. The next meeting date would be Thursday, May 7th, here at Caravel at 6:30.
The May meeting is going to be hopefully very important. That'll be the one where we are all set on the budget. That process is in limbo right now because if things stay as they are, we're not allowed to hold a public budget meeting. And we're not allowed to move forward with a budget without a budget meeting. So I don't know where that leaves us. We're hoping for the best on that, and we're hoping they'll be able to.
Meaning like we can't hold a meeting like this school board meeting?
Because we can't get
Yeah.
public in.
We wouldn't be able to do the actual budget meeting in the gym.
Right, but that's like
virtually.
June.
Yeah.
So, but we can do, if we need to do a
Yeah. We can.
virtual
Workshop.
workshop
We can
meeting.
see your proposed budget and then.
We
Oh, yeah.
hammer on
We
it.
We
can
can-
still work on that.
As a school board, virtually, we can do whatever we need to.
Okay.
But when we reach that point where we
Right.
have to have a public meeting,
Right.
if we can't, we're stalled. I don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the only
So, but
ones.
leading up to that, we'll hope for the best and we'll move forward.
Okay, so for now, we'll go with May 7th at 6:30. School board follow-up and/or requests for information. Do you have anything, Deb?
I don't.
No? Jacob?
Nope, I don't.
Jessica, do you have anything?
Nope.
Anything for you?
I just have one thing.
Oh, wait, Deb has one.
And I know that they know it, but please, convey in our notes, in our minutes, the appreciation that we as a board have for our administrators, our support staff, all the way down, our kitchen, our janitors, our bus drivers, the mechanics.
Right.
I don't wanna leave anybody out, but our staff, all of you are just you're going above and beyond, what our teachers and all of you are doing, so it's much appreciated.
Thank you. And I agree.
I
I couldn't
agree.
be. I couldn't be more impressed with the work that we're doing, top to bottom. The admin team is fantastic.
Yeah.
My job is not easy right now, but they make it as easy as it is, as easy as it can be. They're fantastic. The teachers are going above and beyond. Everybody is working long hours and no complaints. We have some really good people.
I don't think any of us, when we hired you as superintendent, I don't think any of us could have foreseen, I mean, we knew this first year was gonna be challenging. It's presented some really challenging things that we could not have foreseen, so,
Done a great job, great job.
you're really holding down the
Every
fort.
month, I think you have something.
Something, yeah.
Phyllis, do you have anything you need for follow-up?
No,
Patricia, how about you?
did you just hear me?
Yeah, we heard
Yeah, we
you.
heard you, Phyllis. How about you, Patricia?
Okay.
Anything for you?
Yep, the birthday parades are wonderful. We've had two now. We've had two in our little park.
Yeah,
So they've all come and they've all appreciated it.
we had a parade scheduled. Caravel did scheduled for Friday and then Saturday afternoon, but we had to cancel with the new order.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
So, I'm fine, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we will
Jess.
adjourn.
Jess.
Oh, I asked Jess. Yes?
Oh, I didn't hear Jess.
Sorry.
I heard Phyllis, but I didn't hear Jess. I didn't
All
hear
right,
Jess.
we will adjourn at 7:02.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good luck, you guys.
Good
Thanks.
night.